Hello, Tennessee, and welcome to the Allon Exchange with Jay and Brittany Hagee. They are the co-founders of Allon Planning Partners. I'm your host, Spike Spangle, and we are talking about all of your retirement planning needs. Jay, Brittany, it is wonderful to see you in the studio once again. Brittany, how are you doing?
I'm doing great today, Spike. How about you?
I'm doing very well. Jay, yourself, you back in the gym yet?
Yes, I am, and my body's not loving it all that much, but I think it will eventually. Like these 6 a.m. workouts are getting to me. But
like everything in investing and retirement planning, balance.
Discipline.
Yes, balance and discipline.
Hey, and
That's
sometimes
right.
what's good for you doesn't feel good.
That's
That is
true.
true.
And that works in finance too.
Wow, we need to put
That
on
is,
the logo,
wow,
too.
dropping some truth bombs on us right up at the beginning of the show there. Fantastic. Well, speaking of truth, that's what I am curious about. On today's program, we're going to be addressing some of the rumors, some of the ideas, and some of the research that we call looking out on the internet and what kind of information we find about are we ready to retire? And I'm sorry, what bothers me, and I'm part researcher by habit, is that there's a lot of information you can find on the internet. There's a lot of information you can find published in books about retirement planning, which personally I think by this time are out of date. So we're looking for new information. We're looking for those calculators, and I'm wondering how much we can trust that outside information if they're not actually a financial planning professional. So you guys mind if we dive in?
Let's dive in,
let's
because you
do
know
it.
everything on the internet's true. So.
That's right. Well, the internet has put everything at our
Yeah.
fingertips. So here's one of the first ones that I saw, in that a lot of retirees think, or they've heard maybe from their parents or grandparents, that you won't need as much money in retirement, meaning coming in monthly, pulling from your retirement, as you'll need during your working years or even during those kids' years. Do you find that to be true? Because you sit down with retired clients all of the time.
Well, we actually find that to be the exact opposite. You know, and a lot of people that have a loose financial plan sometimes plan 70% of their, budgeting expenses to be used during retirement. We say you need 100% of whatever
Of your
you're
current
using
income.
right now, your current income, to budget you through retirement. Because one, we want to take a more conservative approach, making sure that you get to and through retirement, and two, inflation. There's a lot of factors outside of our control that are causing lifestyles to be more expensive. You also may want to have fun when you're retired, right? You may just not want to
Every
just sit
day
at
is
home,
Saturday, right? We gotta do something.
Yeah, so you may want to actually take those fishing
a
trips
bit.
or go see the grandkids more often or whatever it may be, and you don't want to be stuck in such a tight budget because you've planned for way less that you can't actually enjoy your retirement.
Right.
So we find it to be the exact opposite. We find most of the time people are surprised that they actually continue to spend like they were working.
And I think a hard concept for a lot of folks to understand, including myself, is future value of money. There's this goofy calculator we all have,
Yes.
financial folks, and trying to figure out future value. So a lot of us will try to figure out what our budget is going to be right now for retirement, and knowing what we're going to spend 10 or 15 or 20 years down the road, we have to take into account those factors like inflation we've
Yep,
talked about many
definitely.
times before, and that's hard to determine. But also not just searching on the internet, but is it a wise idea to get advice on your finances, even from someone who has saved $1 million? Your parents, your grandparents, they're in a different situation than you.
Sure, yeah. Everyone's situation is different, and that's where it gets really sticky, is because you may see someone and think they're successful. I need to ask them how they got there. They've saved $1 million. How do I save $1 million, right? Situations are totally different. One of the problems I see is everyone is a financial expert in their own eyes. Because it's a part of our identity, we think if I look like I don't know what I'm doing with money, or I'm asking someone for an expert for advice with money, then
Means I don't know anything.
I'm an idiot.
Yeah.
I'm a loser. I don't know what I'm doing. That's farthest from the truth.
Right.
Listen, you may have been great at saving. You may have been great at budgeting. You may have been great at investing. You may have been great at making money. Have you put the comprehensive picture together and know how to take all of those assets that you've had and create a distribution plan for the rest of your life? That's why we do what we do. We help folks create those plans so they can have peace of mind. And I think a lot of times I wouldn't want my plumber doing my dentistry work.
Yeah.
And so I think sometimes we see, well, he or she's successful, I want to go see what they've done. And it's not a cookie cutter, one size fits all solution. That's why our plans are very unique to your situation.
And because you are great at one of these particular aspects of the, of finance, you may be just focusing in on that one thing. Well, what we want to do is take take you up 10,000 feet and see the whole picture, right? Not just just get stuck on, hey, I can build my wealth, or hey, I can save, I can
I've
budget
made a bunch
well.
of money.
But let's move up a little bit. Let's look at the big picture and make sure all these components really do fit together.
Because especially folks who have assessed and gathered a lot of money, because sometimes it gives them a false security because they've made a lot of money that they can keep a lot of money. That I've seen a lot of people that's made a lot of money lose a lot of money, and have to change their lifestyle in retirement, and because they didn't take the second step of planning well for that income distribution. So that's what I see a lot of times. I would say, that's why we've carried the licenses we carry. That's why we research and develop plans every day, day in and day out. That's what we do. We're the dentist, not the plumber.
Well, and this is something that I really appreciate, that I do feel is completely unique to your firm, is that we both have your different perspectives, both male and female, because I've got this next question. I've heard this a lot. If something happens to my spouse or partner, isn't it true that I'll need less money because we aren't feeding for two, we're not paying expenses for two? Brittany, this is something I wanted to ask you in particular. Are we going to spend less money if our partner passes away?
Well, this is one I am particularly passionate about, because most women find themselves in unexpected situations and they are unprepared. And I want to come alongside you and help you be prepared for these unexpecteds that occur, whether it's a divorce or a death or something, God forbid, that happens. These are things that we do face. And we want you to be prepared for those things, and not alone, not trying to stumble through. And, if something were to happen to your spouse, am I going to have to move out of my house? Am I going to have to sell these assets to make ends meet? But for you to have a plan in place to know what to do if those things occur. Because a lot of times, you do think, well, if something happens to them, I can just use everything we've got and my expenses will be less. I'm feeding one mouth instead of two. Or
there's two factors in there. Number one, somebody passes away, Social Security. Explain
That's
that.
right. So when one of the two spouses pass away and you're both receiving a Social Security check, the lesser of those two checks goes away. So there's a portion of your monthly income that you've been dependent on that will shift immediately. So, and again, that's something that's not really considered. And that's really important for people who have Social Security as a larger portion of their retirement income.
That's right. And does one of the spouses have a pension plan?
Yeah, a lot of. And
that's a third. I didn't think about that. You could possibly lose the pension. Now, there are some pension plans where you can
have
receive
spousal
less, have spousal benefits and a continuation.
But have you prepared and checked the right box
that's
before
right.
you
That's
leave
what I was
that
going to
job?
say. If you have a pension, you or your spouse have a pension, please know how you have elected those benefits. If you do have spousal benefits, because what you want to do is ensure that your spouse is covered even if you were to pass away. So that may mean your benefits are diminished a bit for you both to receive them, but the surviving spouse would get some additional income that would help them through, that transition in living expenses. So that's a big one.
So even if it's just Social Security being cut in half at least, right? Then what happens to the basic everyday living expenses that you have to maintain? Maybe you're feeding one less and this kind of thing, and clothing one less. Your house is probably still the same size. You're still driving around. You probably will be going more places to see family because you find yourself in a place of aloneness.
Exactly.
We're going to have to take a very short break. Folks, if you would like your own complimentary review to take a look at your investments, your taxes, health planning, legacy planning, meaning are you leaving money to anyone, whether it's your spouse or your kids, you need to have a complete strategy. Jay and Brittany are right here in Tennessee. You're watching the Allon Exchange, but call Allon Planning Partners to receive your own complimentary retirement plan review. When we get back from this break, we're going to keep talking about misconceptions that you might read about your own retirement right after this. 866-691-7317 is the phone number for you to call. We're going to take a quick break.
As a good saver, you've been putting away money during your working years. Studies find that the biggest fear of retirees is running out of money. Market volatility isn't just the downward movement of stock prices, it's the size and frequency of change. The more dramatic the ups and downs, the higher the volatility. This can put savers who are newly retired or a few years away from being retired at greater risk. Today's generation of retirees is not receiving traditional pensions as our parents or grandparents did. Instead, we have retirement accounts such as 401ks or 403bs. These accounts typically expose your money to market risk. The last thing you want right before retirement is to lose a portion of the money you need for income. But how do you turn these accounts into a retirement income? Is it safe to keep all your retirement money sitting in the stock market? The last thing you want is to lose a portion of the money you need for income due to market loss. By working with a financial professional, you can learn how to turn a portion of your savings into an income stream for life and income for the life of your spouse if you're married. We all have moments in our lives when we wish we had taken action sooner. Don't let procrastination reign on your retirement parade. Act now before it's too late. Please call our office to set up your no-cost, no-obligation retirement income review today.
Welcome back to the Allon Exchange with Jay and Brittany Hagee. They are the co-founders of Allon Planning Partners right here in Tennessee. I'm your host, Spike Spangle, and we're talking about retirement planning strategies, and more so today, a lot of the things that are misunderstood about retirement. The next thing that I had found while searching on the interweb was a lot of folks thinking that Medicare is going to take care of all of their health care costs. And we're just, hey, you're paying for it, right? And I think many people misconceive that they think that it's going to also pay for long-term care.
Yeah.
That's not true.
Medicare and long-term care, totally separate.
Medicare
Totally
will
separate.
only pay for the first 100 days of long-term care, and it has been really hard for
That's the max.
Yeah, for some of those
Yeah.
that we've worked with to be even able to receive that much coverage. It's really hard to get that. So I mean, 100 days can go like that if you're recovering
When
from
it comes
something.
to long-term care, Medicare is going to make sure that you've paid down your assets before they
Right.
are going to kick in the
is
biggest part of the
big.
bill. So you're only allowed to have, I think this year's 137,000, one house, one car if you're married. So if we're married and I'm using Medicare, I'm allowed to have $137,000 in the bank or any asset whatsoever. One house,
house.
one car, before Medicare really finally kicks into long-term care help. But if I'm-
And that's still only for that 100 days?
that's right. That's to keep that.
So what if you have two cars?
Yeah, then you
Then they
sell
won't
them
cover
one
it.
of them.
Yeah, they won't cover
So
it.
here's
Oh, wow.
and here's
You
the
gotta
bigger
sell the
issue.
car.
If you're single, if you found yourself, alone recently, maybe widowed or divorced or whatnot, and you need that, you're only allowed to have $2,000 in any asset. No house, no car, nothing, before they'll kick in and help with those expenses. So folks that don't have long-term care help at some point, or that's not a part of their plan, are missing a huge piece, because I've seen that destroy financial
Yeah.
plans that have actually been good financial plans for retirement
Right.
get destroyed because of long-term care that they did not take into account.
Average costs around the country are anywhere from $5,000 upwards of $15,000
That's right.
a month if you want
Yeah.
a
That's
private
right. Yeah.
facility. If you need memory care help, can be even
Even
more.
higher.
Shared rooms, I don't know, maybe
Yeah.
3,000 to 7,000. But again,
Yes.
we're talking about making choices so we can be retired, stay retired with dignity.
That's
but
right.
also not deplete our savings so much so that we're maybe hurting it for our spouse or partner.
Absolutely.
For instance,
Because they have
let's
to
use
continue.
this as an example. With the two of you, let's say Jay needs to go into long-term care.
Mm-hmm.
We got $300,000, $400,000. We start putting together those numbers.
spend it
That
down.
nest egg is going to be depleted
Very
maybe
quickly.
within
Yeah.
3, 4,
Very
5
quickly.
years.
Right,
That's correct.
absolutely.
Are the long-term care policies of today the same as they were 10, 20, or 30 years ago? Are there
Absolutely
other
not.
solutions out there?
And I love walking people through these solutions, because most folks don't know.
Yeah.
They think long-term care insurance is what it used to be only.
Use it or lose
and
it.
Use it or lose it. You're paying high premiums. They're, very high because it's healthcare insured based. And you don't get really promised the best coverage all the time. You have to go through a lot of stipulations to get the best coverage. Well, today there's some hybrid policies that are in place that actually you pay premiums, and I tell folks to look at it like a savings bucket, because you're paying premiums in here into a separate long-term care policy that if you pass away and do not use the long-term care, if I pass away, Brittany receives it. She receives it as a
Okay.
death benefit, tax-free. So there's a hybrid policy, so you can put away money that's in your budget for retirement, and you can have the ability to save for long-term care if needed, but not say this money's gone forever.
Right.
I'm never going to see
Because
it if I
I
don't
think
need
that's what, I mean, certainly that's the way that I have thought about them before.
It doesn't have to be use it or lose it anymore.
Okay.
Yeah.
Are they cost prohibitive though?
Yeah, they're very cost effective in my view.
Okay.
I see a lot of folks utilize these, even getting them in their 60s and some at 70, right?
Yeah.
Like I've seen that. Now, obviously, the earlier you get these policies, the more cost effective they're going to be. So if you're in your 40s today and we're doing financial planning together, we should talk about the long-term care associated with that, because you're going to pay a lot less in those premiums.
Much lower
But it
rates.
becomes a savings bucket, like I said as well. So it's not like, hey, I'm throwing this money out the window and if I never use it, you're using it to protect your retirement nest egg, and you're using it
Yeah.
to pass on as a tax-free benefit to your spouse
So
if you
this
need it.
long-term care you're talking about, is this, because I've heard a bit about it, is this an insurance solution? Is this
It
an
is.
annuity solution, or is this a healthcare solution?
Well, this one I'm talking about is actually an insurance solution. So it is a life insurance that has a rider on it for long-term care, so that you can use the death benefit of the life insurance for long-term care needs if you need, or if you do not, that life insurance get passed on to
Okay,
your
and the worst
beneficiary.
case scenario, let's say we use this life insurance thing you're talking about. You do need it for long-term care for 2 or 3 years. You pass away, there's some value left.
That is
Where-
correct.
Where does that go?
Whatever the value's left, it goes to my heirs. If it's
Surviving
to my
spouse.
beneficiary with Brittany, or if we've both passed away, it goes to our kids. You know, so
Whoever
that-
we've listed
That's
is the-
correct. So that's one area. There are annuities that actually cover long-term care too, and so without you having to have a health exam or anything else, you're using your current assets to cover long-term care, and a lot of times they will pay out 2 times an income value, which is of what annuity would typically pay to ensure your long-term care. So there are options with life insurance and annuities that actually
And these
help
are all
cover
just
that.
tools. These are all just different
It's a vehicle.
vehicles.
Well, it's kind of like walking into Home Depot though right now. I don't know which tool I'm supposed to buy. So can I ask you, Brittany, is there a better difference between the life insurance long-term care version or
I mean,
the annuity version?
that
long-term-
right there is where we come in. That's where
Okay.
where we come in to help, because it is based on the specific needs of the family we're working with. I mean, we recommend different types of plans because of the different assets that individuals
you have
hold,
the
because
upfront
the different
assets?
heirs that individuals have, because the way they want to give their money down the road. It just depends on the specific situation for the individual. There are creative solutions, is the point here. There are other ways to get to help you with those funds and those dollars that would cover those expenses, so you don't have to drain your nest egg
Well,
That's correct.
cover those.
Brittany, if you don't mind, Jay, you and I can just sit back. I'd like for you to talk, if you could address to the women out there, it's so important to do the financial planning,
Yeah.
all of the things we've been talking about, needing for long-term care. Please tell them what we would do with a review and why it's so important for all of us to be involved in the retirement plan.
Whether you are married or you're on your own, really would encourage you, take a look at your specific situation. If you are unsure if what you have is a plan, or if maybe you think I have a plan, or I don't know if I'm maybe have some holes within my current scenario, give us a call. This is where we'll sit down with you. We're going to take a look at where you are. And hey, we're going to be honest with you. If what you have is a complete and cohesive financial plan that is working for you, you can count on us to tell you that and say, hey, you've got everything in order, and send you on your way and bless you in that. So we're going to help walk you through and just ensure that what you have does cover you if your spouse predeceases you, that you do have income that will continue for you if you are left widowed or something like that, if something like that does occur. So it doesn't take much time. We encourage you, take a moment, give us a call, 866-691-7317. It'd be our honor to sit down, have a conversation with you, take a look at your full picture, and ensure that you are covered. So you don't have to stay awake at night worrying. You can sleep well at night and think, hey, I've got these bases covered.
That's
and
right.
if the worst case scenario does happen, I've got a plan,
That's
and
right.
we can face it. We can face it together.
Call the phone number that you see right here, 866-691-7317, so Jay and Brittany can do a complimentary retirement plan review. Don't wander around the house at night, staying up, worrying if your
Yeah.
money is going to last.
That's right.
Make sure that you know it will last for you and your spouse, your partner, and for whatever your estate planning needs are. Call us right now. More of the Allon Exchange with Jay and Brittany Hagee when we get back right after this.
When was the last time you saw your financial professional? Are you getting the most out of the strategy that was created for you? Although you've done a great job finding someone to help plan for your future, are you 100% sure that you were given the right strategy? We can help answer these questions and more with a complimentary second opinion evaluation. We will take a look at what you have in place and then help determine if you're well positioned to get the most out of your future retirement income. In the event that it is not, we can help by making suggestions and showing you how to get on the right path. You wouldn't get just one opinion when it comes to a major health decision, so why would you treat your most important financial decision with such disregard? Call today for your no-cost, no-obligation second opinion evaluation to see if you're getting the most out of your retirement income plan.
Welcome back to the Allon Exchange with Jay and Brittany Hagee. They are the co-founders of Allon Planning Partners. I'm your host, Spike Spangle, and we're talking about the kinds of myths and the kinds of things you see on the internet about retirement planning. Maybe they've changed. Maybe you need to change your strategy as well and get updated on it. A big question, though, I have heard every now and then when I've done educational events is, look, I've saved really well. You know, I think I've positioned my family pretty well. I've got a few $100,000 in savings. We've got the house paid off. Why would I need a financial advisor now? Didn't I need a financial advisor before? I'm going into retirement. I've got savings. Why would somebody need a financial advisor going into retirement if they've saved really well?
You may have saved very well. You may have made a lot of money your whole life, and there's many people who have, right? But what I would say is that if you have gotten yourself to the point of retirement, can you get yourself through retirement? Because a distribution plan is different than an accumulation plan. And I meet a lot of people every day that have done really well accumulating because they've stayed within a good budget, they've saved well, they've spent well, they've been disciplined, they've invested well, right? And I will tell you, the last 10 years, anyone almost could have invested well because we've had nothing but a bull market. So I mean, I pat them on the back a little bit, but I say, hey, listen, we haven't seen the ups and downs, because this is where our financial advisor makes our money, not in the everything's
great
good
markets,
season, but when things are going very volatile and rough. So I would say more than ever, that's the type of person I want to come in and sit down and see me, is because I can show them probably the way you're positioned now is not the way you want to continue to be positioned, because you have earned the money. You've saved the money well, and you have a nest egg. Why are you putting it at the risk that you continue to put it at?
Again, taking the higher level approach. You know, not just looking at an individual investment itself, but taking a look at the overarching picture.
Well, one of the things I wanted to ask is, a lot of folks think that having the money inside their retirement account, that there's no costs there. There's no fees. It's like, well, this came from my employer, so this probably doesn't cost me anything. Well, you're not employed there anymore. First of all, is that true? Second of all, wouldn't you like to take a look at the fees that might be inside there?
Yes, we see that all too often. People don't know what they're paying in fees. And it's because exactly what you said, they assume, well, my employer set this up for me, there's probably no charge.
Everyone's paying fees.
Yeah, somebody is managing that account. Somebody is receiving a fee for that.
Everyone's paying
and
fees.
A lot of times there are these hidden fees that people don't even realize are there. I mean, we sat down with the client just a few weeks ago and went through their portfolio, and they were paying upwards of 4.5% in fees, and they didn't even know it. And so we were able to kind of sift through all of their accounts and hey, here's a fee. Did you know you're paying this? No. What's that? I don't even know. Mortality and expense fee. What is that? I don't even know what that. Oh yeah, that's the fee they charge. You know. So going through that and being aware of what you're paying, because even that can eat away.
And
at
another
savings.
point of having a financial advisor, maybe you have your retirement plan at work, your spouse does too, you've got an investment account over here, maybe you've got properties, you've got all of these different drifting accounts all over the place. As we get older, wouldn't it be nicer to sort of aggregate that and bring that all together?
How are they working together? I mean, is one actually working against the other one? And that's a lot of what people don't see. Like, if it's not working together in harmony and you do not know how this account is going to react in the market cycle that we're in versus this account, well, they may be counterbalancing and counteracting each other and not working together. So aggregating your accounts is huge for income planning. And that's part of what we do in our reviews.
Well, speaking of working together, I would like to know, what is your risk tolerance? Like, so when you guys came together at first, would you invest exactly the same way, or do you both have different risk tolerances? It's got to be common between couples.
Yeah, oh, definitely.
We've had many discussions on this. and so we're both risk takers, and we see, we're okay with some risk, right? But I think I'm a way more risk taker than Brittany is.
Right.
And so probably because the statistic's true, I won't be around as long, right? But at the same time, I'm okay to take risk because I see high risk, high reward. And she's constantly telling me, okay, I'm good with the risk, just not that much risk.
Jay,
Right?
I don't
Or
know if
within
you've ever
reason.
read the study that 9 times out of 10 women make better investors.
That's
than
exactly
men.
right. Why do you
Because
think she's up here?
They stay the course, you do research, more willing to take
That's right.
advice.
Well, and I'm glad you said that, because what's important is that we become lifelong learners.
That's right.
That's an approach that we take. We want to continually learn and grow. Albert Einstein said that when you stop learning, you start dying. I mean, he's a pretty smart guy. I mean, he was continually learning. And sometimes we have to be willing to try new things if what we have tried has not gotten us to where we want to be, or may not get us to where we want to go. So being willing to see things through a different lens, or maybe see from a different perspective. Oh man, that's something I hadn't thought about. Or man, maybe if I just turn it just a bit and see it just a little bit differently, it can change the whole picture.
It's
That's why it's
something
good.
you and I have talked about before, that 98% of all women in the United States at some point in their lives will be
Will be
100
on their own.
They'll be on their own,
Yes.
100% in charge of the finances, whether they
Yes.
want to or not.
Yeah.
Now, I'm saying right now there might be a lot of women out there who are in charge of the finances. Maybe they pay the bills, but doing the investments, knowing where the life insurance is,
Yeah.
the annuities, we want to make sure both spouses,
Both
That's
are
huge.
on the same
That's
page, or at least
huge.
know
And
where
if they
everything
have different
is.
risk tolerances, that they balance each other out, right? That's what we do. So we can balance each other out a little bit, and that's what we encourage our spouses that we connect with to do.
Right. Find the compromise.
That's
Find the
right.
common ground.
So there's lots of information out there. And again, whether your parents successfully retired, or whether we're looking on the internet, or whether there's a great book or somebody else who you've seen on TV, not the wonderful Jay and Brittany, there's a lot of different advice out there. But it
Yeah.
sounds more like you need to take advice that is specific to your situation.
That would be the one thing that we would say is it's not, even with what we share here on the show, it's not this, okay, take everything we say and just go apply it to my situation.
fits all.
It's
Yeah.
not a one size fits all approach. It never is. It is so specific because our assets are different. Our scenarios are different. Our marital statuses are different.
Our wants and our needs are
incomes,
different.
our
Yeah.
goals. I could go on and on. It all just looks different for each one of us. Therefore, the plan should follow accordingly. It should be different for
We're
each
going to
of
have
us.
to wrap up today's program. We've got about 30 seconds. Brittany, take us home. Tell us about the complimentary review you'll do for the
we'd love to
viewers.
sit down with you if you want to take this opportunity for a complimentary consultation with us. We'll talk about fees you're paying. We'll talk about inflation and how it's impacting your accounts. We're going to talk about income planning. We're going to talk about tax planning, ensuring that all these bases are covered. Call today, 866-691-7317. We'd love to sit down with you, give you a comprehensive review. No pressure, no charge, just conversation.
Thank you for watching the Allon Exchange. We will be back again next week. Call the phone number you see right here to get your own complimentary retirement plan review. Thank you for watching.